The movie begins with a scene set in a forest covered in ash, where a decomposing body is lying on the ground. A hairless, malnourished cat is seen climbing over the body and starting to nibble on its feet. In the vicinity, a person in a combat suit is close by. Suddenly, an arrow is shot, killing the cat instantly. The protagonist of the story, Eli, then approaches the dead cat, removes the arrow from it and saves it for his own consumption. The movie then shifts to the year 2043, after an apocalypse has devastated the world. Eli is depicted as a wandering traveler making his way westward. He stumbles upon an abandoned house and searches it for useful items. While attempting to obtain water, he discovers that the taps do not work. Upon searching a closet, he comes across a dead body and takes the corpse's boots. He then cleans his weapons while listening to music on an ancient third-generation iPod. Later, he cooks and eats the cat, sharing a portion of it with a rat that approaches him. The following morning, Eli wakes up to discover that his iPod is nearly out of battery, and the car battery rig he utilizes to charge it is also almost depleted. Despite the setback, he continues with his journey to the west, and encounters a woman who is struggling with a broken shopping cart. She requests his assistance, but Eli senses the presence of nearby thugs and calls them out. The leader of the gang attempts to rob him, and after one warning, Eli swiftly severs the leader's hand with a machete. He then proceeds to take on the remaining 5 attackers, and defeats them all. Eli strips the corpses of their valuables, kills the leader, and continues on his journey. As he continues his trek, Eli's iPod eventually dies. While standing atop a destroyed highway overpass, he witnesses a brutal attack on a couple by a gang of marauding bikers. The man is killed, the woman is assaulted, and all of their books are stolen. Despite being shaken by what he saw, Eli remains steadfast in his decision not to get involved. He ponders which direction to take, and eventually stumbles upon a town. He meets the engineer, and exchanges some KFC wet naps, and a Zippo lighter, for a recharge of his iPod battery. As he waits, he inquires about a place to refill his Natine, and heads to a nearby bar. At the bar, the bikers who murdered the couple arrive and deliver the stolen books and items to Carnegie, the leader of the makeshift town. Carnegie is searching for a specific book, so he dispatches his illiterate henchmen to gather every book they can find. When he sees the books they've collected, which consist of a hodgepodge of paperbacks and picture books, he is displeased and orders them to be burned. He takes a hotel bottle of shampoo and shares it with Redridge, his right-hand man, as a reward for the biker's discovery. He then goes to see Claudia, his lady, and gives her some of the shampoo. Meanwhile, downstairs, Eli trades gloves and an Arab scarf for a full canteen of water from the bartender. The bartender gives the canteen to Solara, and sends her outside to get water. However, Redridge blocks her path, but she confronts him and manages to fill Eli's canteen. While in the bar, a cat crosses in front of Eli and growls, but he nudges it away. The leader of the bikers confronts Eli, prepared to fight him for touching his cat. Eli retaliates by slamming the thug's face into the bar and prepares to leave. However, the entire bar attacks him. He fights and kills all but one biker, when Solara returns with the canteen and begs Eli to stop. Just then, Redridge and Carnegie's men arrive, hold Eli at gunpoint, and take him to Carnegie. Carnegie is intrigued by Eli's impressive abilities and education, recognizing that older men who possess knowledge are valuable assets for the future. He asks Eli to stay and help him maintain control over the town, but Eli declines. However, Carnegie insists that he spend the night. During his stay, Claudia, who is blind, brings Eli food. He inquires about her condition and learns that she has been blind since birth. Carnegie decides to use Solara, Claudia's daughter, to convince Eli to stay. Despite Claudia's objections, Solara is sent to Eli's room. Eli declines her advances, but she pleads with him to allow her to stay since she fears for her mother's safety. They converse about the war and Eli shows her the book he possesses, which excites her, but he refuses to discuss its contents. Eli shares his meal with Solara and teaches her how to share the grace. Solara sits with Claudia at breakfast the next morning and attempts to recite the prayer with her, but forgets the Amen at the end. Carnegie steps in to supply the missing word, but then beats Claudia in front of Solara to force Eli to reveal if he has the book. Solara reveals to Carnegie the image of a cross she saw on the book's cover, prompting Carnegie to send Redridge to retrieve it from Eli's room. However, Eli has already fled, and Redridge kills a guard to search for him. Carnegie confronts Eli and demands the book, a Bible, telling him that he is not afraid to kill him to get it. He believes that the Bible's teachings will help him maintain control over the town. Eli responds that he is searching for a place where the book is truly needed, but it is not here. When Carnegie orders Ridge to shoot Eli, Ridge misses twice, leading to a shootout in which Eli kills most of Carnegie's men and wounds Carnegie in the knee. Ridge realizes that Eli cannot be easily defeated, and reluctantly lets him leave. Behind the scenes, Claudia urges Solara to follow Eli, as it is safer for her to be away from Carnegie. The doctor treats Carnegie's wounded leg, removing the bullet and shrapnel before bandaging it. He then orders Ridge to prepare the vehicles to pursue Eli and retrieve the Bible. Ridge informs him that most of their men are dead, but suggests using the Bible as leverage to obtain Solara as his concubine. Though hesitant, Carnegie ultimately agrees to the plan. Meanwhile, Eli continues on his journey until Solara catches up to him and expresses her desire to join him. However, Eli rejects her offer from the beginning. She then informs him of the town's underground spring, which provides uncontaminated water, and offers to lead him there. Eli fills his canteen in the spring but betrays Solara by trapping her in the cave. Despite her protests and accusations, Eli insists that he is not a liar and departs. Solara manages to escape from the cave and continues to search for Eli. Instead, she comes across a woman whose cart has been damaged by the thugs from earlier. Solara offers to help, but the woman insists that she leave for fear of being harmed. Suddenly, two thugs attack Solara, and just as they are about to assault her, Eli appears and shoots one of them in the groin with an arrow, then kills the other with a shot to the throat. Solara embraces Eli, overcome with emotion, and the two continue their journey. Meanwhile, Carnegie and Ridge's men discover the dead bodies of the marauders, and conclude that Eli can't be far ahead. Ridge finds a piece of Solara's clothing and informs Carnegie with discontent. Carnegie asks Ridge if he still desires Solara, then heads back to the car. One of their associates suggests that they end their pursuit for the day, reasoning that their cars could reveal their presence at night, and they might accidentally pass by Eli and Solara. Eli and Solara spend the night near an old cooling tower at a nuclear plant. While Eli reads the book, Solara asks him to read it to her. After he recites a bit, he puts the book away, and Solara requests him to teach her to read it, but Eli remains unresponsive. Later, when she thinks he is asleep, she tries to sneak a peek at the book in his bag, but Eli catches her and warns her with his shotgun. The next day, they continue their journey toward the west, and Solara inquires about the world before the war. Eli tells her that people had more than they needed and threw away things that others now kill for. She asks why he keeps the book, and he explains that it is the only remaining Bible in the world, as it was singled out for destruction after the war due to the post-war population's belief that it caused the war. Eli also explains why he is heading west, which initially confuses Solara, but she eventually accepts that Eli is acting based on his faith. Eli tells her how he found the Bible and insists that a voice instructed him where to go and that he would be protected. Solara thinks that Eli is delusional but refrains from voicing her opinion. The duo reaches an abandoned house with a no trespassing sign. Eli tries to enter, but a trapdoor opens, and they fall into a pit. They are held captive by George and Martha, an elderly cannibalistic couple. Eli senses that the tea they were given was drugged, and that they need to leave. As they exit, Carnegie's convoy passes by, and Eli and Solara return to the house. A tense standoff follows, and a bomb is thrown through the window. When the dust settles, most of the occupants are dead, including Martha. Carnegie holds Solara hostage, and Ridge convinces Eli to give up the book. Ridge recovers the book and hands it over to Carnegie, who lets Solara go. As they drive away, Solara kills the driver, and Ridge dies from the injuries sustained from Eli's machete. Carnegie opts not to chase Solara, as he has the book and limited fuel to return to town. Solara finds Eli missing upon returning to the house, but she locates him still walking towards the west. After putting him in the car, Eli tends to his gunshot wound using duct tape. Despite Solara's apology for losing the book, Eli replies that it's time to apply the lessons he learned from it, meaning, to prioritize others over oneself. Upon reaching the remnants of the Golden Gate Bridge, Eli finds a rowboat and begins to row towards Alcatraz Island. However, exhaustion overcomes him, so Solara takes over. When an armed guard questions them, Eli informs him that he possesses a King James Bible, which leads to their entry into Alcatraz. Lombardi, the caretaker of Alcatraz, who has been collecting remnants of pre-war civilization like books, music, and art, and storing them in the cells, to rebuild society, welcomes Eli. Eli tells Lombardi that they've been missing a copy of the Bible, and asks for paper and pen. Eli then recites the Bible, word for word. And that's all for this recap. Thanks for watching.